right. Welcome, everyone, to another Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. I'm head coach Derek Johnson, and on my right, your left, is Coach Gabe Hovden, Freestyle and Greco director for the OWA, and longtime middle school freestyle, kind of anywhere anyone was needed, coach.
Wherever there was somebody needed a coach, I was there.
Yep. So, yeah, welcome back to another week. And, technically we're in the off season right now, but we still got a lot of stuff going on. And so we're going to keep doing this podcast through the month of April. And, of course, we don't achieve that without generous sponsors like Flemke Insurance Agency. Thank you to Ben and his team over there. Independent brokers that are able to shop a couple dozen carriers for home, auto, life, commercial, everything like that. So thank you, Ben Flemke and his team over at Flemke Insurance Agency. And so we'll start with kind of the positive momentum we have going at the high school. We're doing Black Shirt Club for weightlifting. That's going well. We have a lot of wrestlers that are also lifting within, their respective sports. So that's great too.
As of right now, if you hear anything, it's the track teams up there lifting, and there's a bunch of wrestlers up there lifting with them right now. So
I'm sure the Flemke, Fitcher, Grant Lauer, boys are up there.
The big boys.
There we go. And then also, we were just talking a little off air about the positive momentum we have in Freestyle Greco.
Yes. So when we initially put out our registration for Freestyle, we ended up, the first week we put it out, we got 10 kids. I was like, okay, at least we got some kids. And then all of a sudden, when first practice started, we had 22 registered. But I think there's probably about 27 in here. And then as of last night, I think we're up to 42 kids already. So
wow,
it just keeps growing. Kids are hearing about it. We're getting brand new kids. We got quite the what age I would say. We got a couple little 3-year-olds that the parents asked if they could come in. I said, yeah, just bring them in and let them run.
Right.
Let them just see what we do. But when we start practicing, you got to kind of pull them off to the side.
Sure.
Let them warm up with everybody. There's 2 of them that have been consistently coming to practice, and they're 3-4 years old. And actually, I seen one of them throwing a headlock. So
okay,
I don't know if I want him learning that yet, but he has an older brother. But
that's awesome.
So we got quite the young crew in here right now. We got some consistent high school kids coming. I know spring break was last week, so a lot of people were gone. But I hope they
it's fairly risk-free, because how much does it cost?
For Owatonna wrestlers, nothing. Owatonna school, anybody from Owatonna Schools district is free.
Okay.
So it's free practice. I don't charge you a thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't charge you anyways, but
not your usual $200 an hour.
No, I do that on the side.
Right. Yeah. Consulting work.
I haven't had any profit on that yet.
Yeah. Right. So. Nice.
So it's going good. This weekend's going to be our first tournament up in Eastview.
Okay.
So it's the freestyle, and then I had a bunch of kids raise their hands. I hope they do show up. We'll decide tomorrow night, and I'll send out to all the registered kids that are registered. They'll get an email from me, because I want it to be where we go as a group. We all leave from one spot together, and if some kids don't have rides, their parents can drop them off.
Yep.
And they can jump in with another parent.
Just like the old days.
Yeah, just like the old days. So
Love it.
We're a family. Mm-hmm. And when we get up there, we all hang out together. It's not like, okay, there's the 7th grade families over there, the 5th grade families over here. No, we're all together. So
that's great.
I'm hoping that it really sticks with these kids, and they grow up together and wrestle together.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, and, as a father of more or less a first-year kid, definitely to Freestyle Greco, I can tell you it's a non-intimidating, you're not doing hard conditioning, anything like that during practice. It's just about expanding a little bit of their skill set, because I think it's well documented in the Owatonna folk style system, especially the high school. We don't talk a lot about throwing. Because we're looking for kind of the fundamentals on up. We get into a little bit of that around section time just to have some fun and everything like that. But that's where Freestyle Greco
Yes.
can really get someone comfortable if they need
To tie up. Or if
and
they
just
can't get out of a tie.
Yeah, the instincts of the hips.
Yep.
It doesn't even have to be a throw.
No,
but
no.
just knowing what to feel, what's coming down the pike.
Like
So,
last night we went over. Last night we went over. We would set it up with like a headlock, but you weren't just feeling it. And as soon as that kid one stepped, it was a claw snap. But the way we do it, I don't know. I would do it in folk style too if I could snap, but it's just regenerating. Hey, this duck under can still score you 3 points if you block the leg. As you're bringing him down, and he goes from his feet to his back. That's 3
Sure.
points. That's huge in freestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's 6 points. If you throw 2 3-point moves,
Yeah.
it's the end of the period. So
There you go, yeah.
you do it twice. If the kid lets you do it twice, the period's over. You just won one period. So then you go on to the next period.
Sure.
So we went over just a basic duck under. We actually have not done a move yet that you cannot do in high school wrestling
I
or in
love
folk
to hear
style.
that.
So, I mean, the headlocks, we've done the headlocks. We've done the monkey roll.
Sure.
In high school, you can do that. It bellies a guy out.
Yeah.
We've done the firemen's, but we just elevated a little bit. We're working on that last night, just getting a little more height out of it, get some more points.
Sure. Yep.
And even if you can't get the height, you take him to his back, from his feet to his back, it's 3 points.
Yeah.
We were going for the 4-pointer, and
Yeah.
to see guys, if you just elevate a little bit, you get an extra point for effort. So
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's great. It's awesome to have, it is such a short window for Freestyle Greco. So I'm glad that the participation's really boomed and that's,
Yeah, and I think they're having fun. I mean,
yeah. Oh, they definitely are.
I hope so, because I mean we're not here to we're not doing the conditioning. There's, in my eyes, for summer wrestling, it's supposed to be fun. We review every move we go over. The first 15, 20 minutes, you review every move that we go over, and then we learn the new one.
Sure.
And then at the end of the practice, I just call out 4 of the moves we've learned. Okay, I want to see do 3 each. Now do 5 more of the one we just learned tonight.
Yep.
And that's basically practice. It's technique only.
Yeah. No, I love that. Nice. Well, and some of those kids, that Freestyle Greco, were participating. Our 7th and 8th graders were over at NYWA State last week at Rochester at the Civic Center, which was cool. We got to be in the main event center the whole time,
Okay.
our side of the bracket. Went 2 and 3 over there and
Okay.
lost the last one by a point.
Oh.
I know they were sitting there, state champion heavyweight from Bemidji, so it might have been a little different anyway. But yeah, we looked really, really tough. It's we're a team. Even at that age, we're seeing the similar type of thing with our high schoolers, where we may not be the year-round wrestlers. The kind of blue blood. That just go all in at nationals, all the way back to 1st, 2nd grade. But we outwork everybody. Like the 3rd period was ours, and it continues to be that way, kind of top down in this program. So I love that.
And that goes back to just the way we run. You guys run. We run practice at the junior high. We do the conditioning. We do push them.
Right.
And then it's just normal now. I mean, even at freestyle, I've had a couple say, "Well, are we going to run?" No. You're running in the beginning, the first 10 minutes of warm up. That's your running. Oh, we don't do this here.
Yeah.
And they want to, but I don't want to break mold just to.
Well, and that's the thing too. They're so excited, the 7th and 8th graders, and we're looking for a solution going forward. In our current high school system and everything, we just don't have the space. But all these 7th and 8th graders that want to lift with the high schoolers and everything, it's like, well, we don't have the capacity yet.
Yep.
We don't have the staffing, don't have the capacity to adequately, we could open up the weight room for them, but honestly, we want professionals working with them.
Yeah.
So I love that. It sounds like kind of the same thing, that they're so hungry for it. They want the exact same treatment as the high school.
Keep the treat a little keep it away from them until they get there, and then let them loose.
Yeah, because it's going to be grueling.
Yep.
I make no bones about it. We run a boot camp at the high school. I mean, the whole season. So, but we also keep it fun, and the culture is awesome.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah. So sorry, we went 2 and 3. Kind of had to calculate it because they ended the final day in pools for NYWA, but we finished 22nd out of the 32 state teams. That's not of all of the teams there weren't just 32 middle school teams in the entire state. It was 32 made it to state, and we finished 22nd out of them. So.
And there's how many matches did you have at sections? what was the how
Three.
many? 3 matches there. So there's 4 teams down there.
Yep.
You got past that. If you add, I mean, how many sections? You start adding it up.
Right.
There's quite a
Yep.
few teams participating in this.
Yep. And you may have heard of these teams that were in the finals: Hastings versus St. Michael.
Oh.
And I think this time, even though Hastings got the upset at high school, St. Michael's middle school was insane.
Yeah.
And Owatonna coaching alum, BJ Mariotti, was their coach for SDMA, who is an SDMA alum. And his little kid at 85, his son.
Okay.
Holy crap. Kid looked like he was wrestling at Big Tens.
Okay.
Like, he is very, very polished already at his age. So shout out to Coach Mariotti there. But so and last, before we have our esteemed guest on, I just wanted to yet again circle back, remind everyone that the Owatonna Wrestling Banquet, it's not just the high school, it's high school awards, it's middle school awards, and just general program community getting together.
Youth can come.
Yep, youth can come. So Sunday, April 16th at the Owatonna Eagles from 4 to 7 p.m. I believe details are on our Facebook page. It's $15 at the door. That covers your meal, but also just basically I think the meals ended up being almost $15 anyway. So it's not like we're making money on it. No, we're
not
just
on this.
Just trying to keep it going. So welcome to everyone out there. It's a fun time, and it's cool to honor kids all the way down. We even had that last year where we were kind of honoring like the youth that won awards at their banquet and everything. So it's
it's good.
time.
It's a community. It's a family.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be right back with our next guest. A very familiar face and familiar name to everybody out there, I'm sure. So be back in a sec. All right. Welcome back to the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast. Coach Johnson, Coach Gabe, and Coach Prestegard, Mr. Wade Prestegard. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me. I feel honored to be here and be asked to be part of your podcast.
Absolutely. 2001 grad, 2000 grad.
Yeah, that's
97?
Right. 96.
96. All right.
Old guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yes, teammate, not always a practice partner, but definitely a teammate, Mr. Wade Prestegard, and state place winner. A part of some of the greatest teams in Owatonna wrestling history.
That's right.
Talk about that. So, state championship team in '98 for sure.
Yeah.
And then in '99 finals for us.
Finals. Yeah.
And then 2000 fifth place.
Sixth place
Or
in
sixth-
2000.
or, yeah.
Yeah.
Sixth. Okay.
Yep.
Kind of lost my drive after I got to the Wrestlebacks and lost to Tidwell. Had the closest match that Tidwell had that year in his finals run or his championship run. And just kind of got burnt out a little bit in Wrestlebacks, and that's what happens.
Yeah, it's
You
tough.
lose 2 and you take 6. So
Yep.
And that's what they call wrestle back, because you got to wrestle back.
that's right.
back
Yeah.
through. It's not easy.
It's not.
Yeah.
1 minute first periods, that's tough to remember that you don't have an extra minute if you get taken down and
Sure.
you're down 2-0
Yep.
with
Yep.
no escape chance. So no excuses, though. There is no
Yeah,
excuses.
no.
I earned it.
Yep. It's a privilege to be up there you worked hard to get up to that state tournament.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Had good practice partners all through the way. The team that we had through the years, even Gabe looking up to these guys, that's basically what drove me is these guys ahead of us, just winning and going against Faribault, battling those guys, and finally coming through in '96 and making it to state. And they had a really good run and ran into Apple Valley that first
round.
match. And,
Yep. Tied them in the first match of the season, and our first loss was our first match at the state tournament. We lost to them by 1.
Yeah, tough one to take, but
Yep.
they led the way for all of us younger teams, and kind of broke the mold and said Owatonna Wrestling is finally here, and we're going to beat Faribault every year we did it
For a while.
long time.
Yep.
Yep. No, that was it. So, Wade, Prestegard's a pretty big name in the Owatonna community. You come from which branch of the family tree here?
So Bruce is my dad, Marcia Orlowski. She's my mother. both large families. And I got an older brother that did wrestle when he was younger. We wrestled together, and he quit earlier on. And Scott and I, who's now coaching with you guys,
Yeah.
him and I kind of wrestled through high school together, and it was just a great sport to be a part of, and the family aspect of it, like these guys were mentioning earlier, it truly is a family. Those 13 guys that you wrestle with and practice with, and basically let everything out that you have. Wrestling takes everything: mental toughness, strength. You got to be good at schoolwork. Like that's one of the main things that you need to keep on track is your schoolwork.
There you go.
I like that comment.
Right.
Did you guys all hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody kind of helped everybody out. That was the nice thing about Owatonna wrestling is that, we're all there for each other, which I can see it still happening.
Yeah. Very, very tight teams.
Yeah.
Very tight. So,
And the tighter the team, the better they are.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So 2000, so back when you guys were freshmen, what place did we take as a team for ninth grade state? Were we state champs that year? When you guys were freshmen? I know you were wrestling on varsity at that point,
I think you were.
but with like Clint, Dan Schiller, Casey Kaplan, your grade was so huge. Urban,
My brother
Eli
Adam
Ross.
was in there.
Yep, I'm pretty
Adam.
sure they were state champs. And there was what was there, 2 or 3 individual state champs our year?
Yeah.
Eli Ross. Was Eli Ross on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli
Joe
Ross.
Butler.
So
There's a lot of. I start
stacked
thinking
team.
back.
it was tough because there was a lot of great freshmen that got to wrestle a lot of varsity matches. So like the 9th grade league added to your match total. So it was like always tough to get, excuse me, the proper matches because Davis didn't want any of those good freshmen to not be able to make it on the state team and be an alternate.
Right. Yep.
That was a precursor to our state championship year. So it was a lot of us freshmen that became sophomores the next year when we were state champs. We got our feet wet in that state tournament that year. I think we were consolation champs my freshman year, and that was probably one of the things that stuck with me the most. Those 3 seniors that year: Scott Sikora, Travis View, and Ben Gazdner, who I looked up to all those guys, and those guys were real class. Like all 3 of those guys really were there for the team. They were, if you were part of the team, you were on the team. Like Travis View would say hi to me in the halls. I felt like I was a superstar.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And speaking of him, he just won senior nationals.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he wrestled out at senior nationals this year. He tech-falled his first guy, and then I think he pinned his second guy.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine in the lateral.
Or masters.
Masters,
I don't know
yeah.
if it's seniors or masters, but if you're...
So we had Logan Barrett last year win it.
Yep.
And now we have Travis View this year win it.
and
Jeez.
Travis is 45.
Woodruff is next.
Oh
That
my
kind of made
gosh.
me think, God, maybe I should roll down there, see what happens next year. You want to come with me?
Yeah, I could train.
Oh my gosh.
I'll be your training.
Yeah.
Yeah, nope, I'll pass.
Oh, that's awesome. That reminds me when you guys reached out to me about wrestling an old timers tournament, and they're like, "Can you make 145?" Like, are you joking?
Was that with Ben Wilson?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd be
you
lucky
guys-
to make 180 right now. Like, I'm not cutting
Yeah,
for
they
this.
called me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys know how old I really am?
Oh gosh. Yep. No,
The
that's
neck
great.
never hurts so bad when you're 40 years old and trying to wrestle some 22-year-old college kids.
I
Yep.
bet. Well, nice. So, as an individual, what were some of your highlights, kind of year to year of how you did your wrestling accolades? I know, so freshman year you placed...
Freshman year, I came in like a buzzsaw and set the freshman record, which the following year got just housed by Derek. Every record that I tried setting was beaten by Derek the following year usually. But
Well, now mine are wiped off, so
Yeah.
I feel you.
records are meant to be broken.
Exactly.
You just hope to have them for a couple years, you know. Freshman year, I made it to state. I was really excited and pumped at 103 pounds. Had a couple good matches. Lost a killer to Mark Buck to place, and then again got into the wrestlebacks and didn't have the right mindset. But it was a good run that first year. Sophomore year, when we won state, I got a little too overconfident, looked past one guy, ended up getting caught in a headlock in section semifinals, didn't make it to state, which might have been a good thing for me. Not wrestling so many matches probably helped a little bit in the finals, which was probably one of my favorite matches of my career. DJs.
Who'd you have for racing?
Jake Johnson, I think I wrestled in the finals there at 12, and it was probably DJ's only match that he lost in the finals, in the state finals.
Put to my back.
Fought off his back for the entire third period.
Up 4-0 and get put onto my back and had to survive. He wasn't even going for the pin. He was just trying to ride it out.
Yeah.
And I didn't dare move. I was like, I know I'm not getting stuck.
How we fought that off, we're all happy that he never got pinned, but that probably set me off a little bit, seeing DJ on his back there, and it probably gave me enough of that willpower to beat Jake Johnson. Not only was the crowd there unbelievable, I can still remember running out there. I still get goosebumps and the hair stands on my head, on the top of my head, just thinking about running out there. It felt like all of Owatonna was there cheering, and it was probably the loudest I've ever gone into a stadium. I can understand how rockers feel when they got all these people screaming, but it was unbelievable.
Crazy.
So, funnest match of my life, probably right there in that finals.
Nice. And then junior
year, I got injured Faribault. Had a little break there, about 3-week break. I tore my meniscus, came back. That was DJ's first state title individually that year. And him and I had some pretty good time up at a place we won't disclose, losing a little bit of weight.
Oh my God.
Was this place called the West Hills?
Nope.
Oh.
This was
At a tournament?
Post-secondary institution of learning.
Oh, okay.
And the coaches got the best of us, and you know, it's something as coaches that you don't ever want to do. You don't ever want the kids overweight. You don't want to have to work them that hard, but you know, in the end, it's your own fault. You put the weight on, and they're going to get it off.
Yeah.
Shout out, rest in peace, my Grandpa Dell, who ran that weigh-in.
Oh.
I don't know if I knew I would have made weight. I don't know if everyone would have made weight had good old Grandpa Dell not been purposely doing the weigh-in at 11 o'clock at night at the Target Center.
Yeah.
So, that was good.
McClay wishes he would have had him as
I know.
year.
Sabotaged him. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Senior year, I was finally a section champ. It was one of my goals that I had for myself individually. We made it to state as a team, which was always a goal of ours all 4 years. And I was able to place sixth and had one of the best matches at Tidwell. He still remembers the match against me when I see him in the city. So shout out to Jamel, wherever he's at right now, coaching. I'm sure he's somewhere. But
of Bloomington Kennedy, and he's coached at Luther. He's coached back at Valley, Shakopee, kind of all over, and kind of expected to see him alongside Levasseur at Eden Prairie. I think that might be in the cards.
I'm sure they travel together, and they got pretty good training for the younger kids up there too. So
nice. Yeah.
So back in when you were wrestling, what move was your favorite? What was your favorite move of all that you would just love to do? You would try it even though sometimes you probably weren't going to get it, but you would still, because you liked it so much, that type of move.
I'd have to say the boot scoot was probably my favorite, just to drop people on their face. Everybody knew it was coming, and it was just something that a lot
you
of
still
people
got 'em.
couldn't stop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ben Gassner was the
I
one
was
that
just gonna say it.
he's the one that like showed us that move. As he was a senior, we were freshmen, and I kind of looked at it like, that's never gonna work. And once you try it and you kind of hit it a few times, and you're like, wow, take a little pressure, and it just happens. Ben Gassner was like probably one of the best technicians that I've ever seen, and that's what Ben was really good at, is just doing everything how you're supposed to. And it's, you know, one move is going to lead to the other, and you know, you hit it crisp, and you're going to hit a lot of moves, and they're going to look really nice for the crowd.
Okay.
So I wish I could have emulated Travis' view. I just didn't have no roller Greco.
You weren't 250.
Yeah, I couldn't toss anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lord knows I tried, but
Yeah. Well, and I purposely brought you in this year for things like that. So, you know, you showing the high schoolers the boot scoot this year was awesome to see, because I feel like it was the same type of epiphany moments where they're just like, what? As you're showing it the first time, and as soon as they started practicing, they're like,
It does work.
Yeah, and it's like, well, yeah, you gotta trust it. You could see that some of them even were like kind of holding back and not really hitting their butt, you know, completely, or they were just kind of worried. And it's like, it's the trust of the pressure, and you did such a good job kind of laying out. And we had you do it a couple of times. That just the absolute, you know, feeling the pressure, setting it up, and the trust that you have in your technique, and that was great.
yeah, you definitely have to give yourself up, and it feels like they're gonna be able to just come and bull rush you. But you know, once you get that and you realize that there is no really way that they can get down at my level to compete with me on my hips, which as you know, your hips are your strongest
Yep.
part of
Yep.
your body. So you know, if they can't control your hips, you should be fine, right? I mean,
Yeah,
dogfight out of it.
absolutely.
Okay. So now, where are you at now? What are you up to?
So I'm a licensed contractor. I'm living in Belle Plaine, Minnesota. Me and my fiance put up a multi-generational house with her folks. So I got parental figures next to me that always keep me in check.
There you go.
Okay.
We've been there for about 5 years now. I do mainly right now we're focused on a lot of concrete work. We are capable of doing full house remodels, bathrooms, kitchens. We do most of that stuff in the wintertime, and in the summertime we get outside, pour a lot of concrete. We'll do, I know right now we got a bathroom going on and all over the metro. So St. Paul, Prior Lake right now we're in. We got one job in Orono. So we're
Pretty much the metro.
Yeah.
Metro, South Metro.
wherever the word of mouth takes
Yep.
me. No advertising for
Okay.
what is it, 2008, 15 years I think we've been in business.
Okay.
So it's just growing word of mouth, and you know that's kind of how I like to keep it. Is just the good clients will pass my name and they'll pay me every time when I get
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to court to get your money.
No,
Yeah.
I like to stay out of those places.
Okay.
Nice.
So, are you doing any coaching or anything up there?
No coaching. I 2014 and 15, I coached with Coach Scott Davis, and Jim Jackson was with us, the old Apple Valley coach, for one of
Okay.
the years. I was kind of running the heavier weights, kind of practicing with them. The younger kids is where I kind of attached to, because the two, you know, Jackson and Davis, they had the varsity, they had that taken care of, and I kind of let them run that. Whereas the younger kids are a little more moldable. You can kind of have fun with them and get them used to what they're going to be expected of them at later on when they actually do get varsity.
Okay.
And being there for them, that was kind of fun to talk to them. It gets you back to the days when you had those same issues or your same dealing with girlfriends, dealing with friends, dealing with fights, doing all the high school stuff that all kids have to deal with, even to this day. So, yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Well, and had you back in a little bit, and I'm going to always keep nagging you to try to get you in even more. I love having you around. In the perspective of, same with Coach Hovden here, you know, what we know the blueprint. You know, we've seen there's certain things that no matter what decade we're doing this in, they translate because it was about doing things the right way. Now, whether or not those, the technique has changed a little bit, sure.
Oh, yeah.
If, the strength, the strength training is more prominent, sure. But the expectations and the mentality part, that's why I especially love, 2000 grads, 96 grads. It was the expectation and how, if you survive this room,
you commit.
God save everyone outside this room because they are going to take a beating.
Yeah.
So
the commitment. Once you commit, you said you're going to do it. You were held accountable to do it. You didn't get to say, I don't feel like it now. I'm going to go eat. Well, no, that didn't fly because you had 12 other guys standing there going, no, you committed to it. You can do it. So and everybody helped you do it too.
Absolutely.
You weren't sitting out there on a limb by yourself.
Right, and that's some of the toughest matches were right down in this room with your teammates, and that's how we always had a good team. It might have been a dogfight, but the punches were very minimal. I know there was a couple of them that usually threw punches, but none of us lighter weights ever threw
we really
punches.
didn't. No.
It was all good, clean fun, but that's one thing that you always see is any state champion on any team, you see that next weight below them or above them, and that's usually probably going to be another state entrant or somebody that's going to be placing pretty high because the competition is there every day. And, you go out and wrestle somebody from another team, and, this is way easier than wrestling Jeremy Wilson or
for sure.
wrestling Tarek Johnson every day, So it was a little almost sometimes of a relief getting to wrestle some other guys.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I tell you all the time when I see it, it's just like it's so good seeing you, not just for the sake of the selfish reasons of having you back around the program, but thinking back to the mentality aspect, the swagger aspect, all of that. I think of you in a lot of ways, and I actually reference you a lot with, because you were also kind of the team mascot, what's Wade gonna do? Is he gonna do a backflip off the wall? Is he gonna cover himself in Ken shield? Is he gonna, you also kept the humor. Yeah, exactly. But it, all of a sudden you'd flip a switch and you were the meanest SOB out on the mat. So. It's awesome to see you. It's awesome to see you so successful, also with your contracting business. That reputation precedes you. I've heard about how well you're doing for 10 years now, so that's awesome to hear, man.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you. And like I said, you're one of those guys that I've always looked at and been like, man, if I could have just done as much work as Derek, if I could have just stayed after practice for 10 minutes like Derek did every single time, that was like I could have been a state champ. But the kids these days, they have that opportunity, and if they do put in that 10 minutes, and they act just like Derek did, like Derek's got the idea. He knows what to do to make a champion. He knows how to train, and you got to follow his footsteps because he's been there, he's walked that. So it's fun to come back, and the same thing, it's kind of like a reunion seeing all you guys. And I wish we could have all the guys in the team once a year just get back together and just laugh about all the.
Come to the golf tournament. The golf tournament now.
Yeah.
I see. I get to go the first time this year because the daughter's not playing.
Now.
It's in June, and the daughter's not playing summer ball. So I'm really excited about this golf tournament.
All right. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Awesome, sir. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Gabe.
Yeah, and thank you. Well, and that's been another awesome episode of the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast.
Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give a shout out to Kate Fogarty for prepping me for this. It was much needed.
And Kate Karsten, keep it real.
There you go. Awesome. Well, take care, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.
Thank you.